Here we go, second time round. First off, who are you and what are you up to?
I am Ollie Willars, and I'm a Great Britain international hockey player.
Enjoying the radio voice there, mate. It's very nice.
It's very serious. I've never done one of these before, so I'm quite looking forward to
First
it.
podcast.
First podcast.
Oh, very nice. Exciting times. Really looking forward to just having a chat to you about what you've been up to, kind of your journey into being a senior international athlete, and kind of just a few other bits which, to be honest, if I knew when I was growing up as a player, probably would have helped me out a little bit, which is why I was really keen to chat to you, just to kind of hear about your journey and all the stuff you kind of went through. So first off, what are you doing? So you're obviously a senior international player, who are you playing for, and what else are you up to?
Yeah, well, obviously the team are away at the moment in the Pro League. So they're on a tour. They left a couple of weeks ago. Obviously they played Australia over the weekend, and then play New Zealand this weekend. So it's kind of a strange one because obviously I've not been picked this time round. Which naturally happens in what we do. So I've kind of actually been back home. I wouldn't say a fitness camp, but there's kind of been a bit more stuff in the gym and running, which is I just like playing hockey, so that's the hard bit of it, I guess. But yeah, it's been all right. There's obviously a smallish group of us back here, which is kind of fairly normal when the squad goes away. 18 go. There are only 18 that can go, so they disappear. And there's a group that usually stay here and kind of keep ticking over. So I've actually spent the last couple of weeks training with the development squad, which has actually been kind of really enjoyable.
Nice.
Considering, I want to be in Australia, obviously.
But, for sure.
To be around here has been pretty good. Yeah.
Nice. And then who are you playing for at the moment?
Beeston. So I've been there since I was 12 years old.
Born and bred. Love that.
Real long time. So I've spent just about kind of every single bit of competitive hockey I've ever played at Beeston. So I love it there. It's kind of real big part of my life, and I'm proud that I've kind of played there for so long. And
there's a few boys who have been through Beeston, from juniors through to seniors and stuff, isn't there? So there's definitely you. Wardy was a Beeston boy.
Wardy, Dixie.
Yeah.
All kind of come through pretty much from when we were junior internationals. Ben Arnold, he played kind of international hockey as well, and he came through later on in our juniors. So there's been a real good history of players coming out of Beeston. I think it's a testament to kind of some of the work that some of the people have done.
So you're saying at the moment you're on you're on a slightly different program, because obviously you're here and the other guys are out in Australia and New Zealand at the moment. What would your normal kind of training week look like from Monday to Friday? Because obviously weekends free for games and stuff. So what's your normal week look like?
Our general week would look something along the lines of pretty much a double session, kind of Monday, Tuesday, and then a Wednesday we quite often would have off now. So historically we never really had that off, but the last couple of years that's been more of a day off. We get on the watt bike on Wednesdays, which so our S&C coach has done this kind of, you basically sit on the watt bike for 40 minutes and you have to kind of maintain 2 times your body weight of wattage. And the idea, originally we got told it was a recovery session, but I'm pretty sure
recovery to me.
I think most of the lads would say kind of this is, you sit on that bike and you kind of get 10 minutes in, you're like, it's meant to kind of be easy, a bit of a recovery day. So we have that on a Wednesday now, which is slightly tougher. And then a double session on a Thursday and Friday, and that'll kind of look something like a couple of gym sessions, pitch sessions, about 4 pitch sessions. Then we'll move to when the club season's on, we play our club fixtures at the weekend. So you kind of usually get a Wednesday and one of the weekend days off, and it varies.
Okay.
And the Pro League's changed it slightly.
I was going to say, that must make it quite... The only word that came into my head then was dynamic, in terms of having to deal with the schedule, but then also trying to fit in other bits in and around it, club finals, and obviously there was the clash with indoor, which didn't go down very well. But that's a separate thing. But these things can't be helped. That's the diary. That's when you're trying to compete with everything all over the world.
So busy now.
Yeah.
Ultimately, our club season goes from September to kind of March, and then you've now got the Pro League to fit in. We've got club indoor, the summer fixtures that we get internationally. So you pretty much now, as an international athlete, you're playing all year round. There isn't really a couple of weeks at Christmas, and quite often you're still having to train and stay on it, because so often, I mean, we late January, the lads are playing Australia, one of the best teams in the world, and if you take your foot off the gas, then you struggle, and that's the thing. It is very much now, the calendar is just go.
And have you seen that change since you've come in as an international athlete? Because how many caps are you on now?
I think about, I want to say 130-ish,
okay,
either side. So
yeah.
I don't regularly check it, but I think somewhere around there.
Okay, so then in that time, that's obviously a few years accruement of senior caps there. Like, have you noticed a difference sort of post league, pro league?
Yeah, I think there's been a big, I mean, before definitely the Rio cycle, it was very much kind of, there was generally felt kind of a tournament around Christmas, either side of it. The old World League quite often came up, and you'd have about 3 or 4 months of training without much competition, which, looking back now, I much prefer the schedule we have now. I think there's I think there's a bit more longevity to it as an international now. I think training constantly, this is probably a personal opinion, but it's quite tough. Getting each day, training, and actually now having a good block of training, some games, a little bit of a break. I think there's just a bit more variety to what we're doing, and more competition throughout the year, which is the big thing, because the more we play against the best teams, the better we are prepared as we move forward. And I think you went through a period where, it's definitely in the Rio cycle, it's kind of a World League here and there, a big tournament in the summer, but you had big blocks of training. And I'm sure coaches at times absolutely love that. But I think as players, we want to play, we want games, and that's what the Pro League definitely offers.
Okay, and then, so, like you say, you do 2 double sessions, is it Monday, Tuesday, your double pitch sessions?
Yeah, our double pitch session was on a Tuesday quite often. So we train, Tuesday would be a morning session and an evening session, but now we've kind of, the day got really big on long on a Tuesday, so now we kind of do a good hard session followed by some set piece work, so a lot of penalty corners work. Monday and Thursday are our gym days, and we have a pitch session either side we have a pitch session in the afternoons of those days. And then Friday we train as well. So throughout the week there's good variety. I think that's the good thing. And that's the nature of the centralised programme is, well, I'm sure you'll find as a club coach, you get like a night on a Tuesday and a night on a Thursday, and it's kind of to cover everything. Obviously, there's so much to cover. It can be really difficult. And I think obviously the nature of the centralised programme is we get to focus on stuff, and one week we want to focus on some attacking outlet stuff, and the next week deep whatever. But we have time to really focus on it, and that's the
time to go into the detail of everything, haven't you? Really, which is pretty decent to have that time and everything else. So 130-ish caps in. Well, anybody who knows what the actual count is, just drop us a message. That'd be really helpful. Any proper hockey badgers out there who know Willard's stats. What was your journey to becoming a senior international athlete?
My journey was definitely a different route to kind of, I think most as you progress, you play kind of your junior hockey through your 16s, 18s, 21s, seniors, and my international career didn't start, I don't think, until I was 22. But in the 2011-2012 season at Beeston, I kind of spent that season in and out of the first team. I was kind of understudy to Ali Wilson, who was going to the 2012 Olympics. So kind of he was around most of it, but when he wasn't, I kind of stepped in and played at fullback. And when he was, I either benched a little bit and played a few minutes, or I kind of dropped back down to the second. So I was in and out. And that was the 2011-2012 season. So that season finished kind of May sort of time 2012. And by November the same year, I made my international debut in Australia against India. So I went in the space of 6 months from kind of playing pretty much in the second team at Beeston to being in the first team. And we started that season, the 2012-13 season at Beeston, we started really well, but I kind of went in, and they were the first time I was starting games in the Premier League. So before that, I started the odd one, but in the build-up to that, I was still kind of, the season before, I was on the bench or playing second team, and that year, for whatever reason, I think Al wasn't playing a bit, and there was an opportunity that opened up, and I had a bit of time to play. I mean, we had an unbelievable team that season. Yeah. Our team was on a different planet, to be honest. And I ended up going that, and actually, so that first tournament I got picked in Australia, there was, I think, 10 Beeston players out in Australia.
My God. That's amazing.
and that excluded David Ames and Tim Whiteman, who both came into the programme the following year when it started. So we had a seriously good side. But it was, I guess, a very different route to what happens normally.
So then you didn't do any like 16s, 18s, 21s, none of that?
No, nothing. I played my school hockey, juniors at Beeston, but I never played any junior international stuff until my first experience of any sort of a trip to Bisham Abbey or a Lilleshall was in that time.
So how did you get picked up then? Was that through the club system because you were playing really well within the club stuff and you were noticed and like nomination or?
Yeah, I there was obviously, when the Olympics finishes, there's always this kind of turnover of players or people weren't sure. And when 2012 finished, there was there was a Champions Trophy, kind of, obviously they're gone now, but the old Champions Trophy that was in that November. And so there was a bit, I know there's a few of our boys that knew there was this opportunity was going to come up, and Lee Boy came to a few of our games to watch, and Bob was at a few of our games, and I just assumed at that time they were just watching the lads that they were there was a good chance that you got George, Dixie, there was a few of the boys that were in our team, and I was assuming he was coming to watch them, and obviously as this time went on, they had spotted me, and I remember when I first got the call. So it is this is how I remember my first cap. It is a phone call, and I remember it was still at uni, so it was a Thursday morning. So,
oh yeah, because uni Thursday mornings are great, aren't they?
Yeah, so it was a Thursday morning. I'm a student, so my phone rings. It must have been about 9:30 in the morning, and I wasn't going to pick it up. I was half asleep on a Thursday morning. At university.
Say no more.
Yeah, and he's phoning me. Oh God, I don't see it. So I picked it up. Hello, Ollie, it's Bobby Crutchley, Great Britain coach. I went, got out of bed, cleared my throat. I was walking around
Bob?
Yeah, walking around my boxers. Oh, hi, Bob. Yeah, speaking he said, we're looking to take you out to Australia for the Champions Trophy. Will you be around? Like, what's your schedule looking like? Like, what you up to, sort of thing. So, yeah,
free now.
I think I'm gonna be all right. So, yeah, definitely free. Whatever
was there is gone.
So I had this call, and I went to. I think the selection was the next day, the official selection. So the lads were a bit kind of nervous, obviously waiting to find out if they got selected. And this selection was coming out at 5:00 on Friday. And I remember Graham Griff ringing me up, and he was the Beeston manager, and he was absolutely ecstatic. He was so happy. He's an emotional man at the best of times.
Yeah.
But he was so happy, and I knew that I was going to be in this squad. Obviously, the lads are all waiting, and this squad goes out at 5:00, and my name's there's a load of Beeston lads, and my phone rings instantly, and Pinner what the hell is going on? Ringing me up saying, where's that come? Amazing, I'm so happy for you. And then the phone was going off and the boys messaging.
Nice.
So it was kind of a whirlwind, but obviously a very different route to what kind of people generally go down.
Yeah, and I think for me it's so important to kind of get that message out. Like, there is no one particular path for players that want to become senior international athletes. Don't beat yourself up if you don't make it 16s, 18s, 21s. You think of someone like Dan Fox, didn't do 16s, 18s or 21s, went to 2 Olympic Games. You look at Wardy, didn't do 16s, 18s, did 21s, went a very different route again via indoor, and then which is another totally different subject, you know. And actually, it's so important for everybody just to just keep working really, really hard, and then just trying to put themselves in the best possible position, and then you can go from there. So on that, then obviously club hockey then for you was massive, like
huge.
So,
Well, I was going to say I was just very lucky. I had a couple of fantastic coaches. I had Martin Jones, who ex-international,
great player,
unbelievable player, forward, and he was really helpful for me and taught me a lot. And Matt Taylor as well. So I had those two guys, both ex-internationals that kind of I'd been through it a little bit, but really worked with me. Jonesy was great for me with my kind of in the club training stuff, but I spent a lot of time off the pitch with Tails working hard. And I think it was, to me, it wasn't about, I wasn't working hard to necessarily, I was like, I want to be in international hockey. I just enjoyed trying to get better and learning new skills and trying to move my game on that way. And actually, as a result of that, I was lucky enough to that. But the chance to play for Beeston and club hockey, I think, just shows that there is those opportunities there, and people, you play your club hockey and you do well. There's nothing to say that route couldn't happen for anyone else. It's about, I think eventually people do get to those positions, and it's like you said, it's just working hard, keep at it, trying to kind of.
And I think the really interesting bit that you said is like, it wasn't like, oh, I want to be a senior international, like that's my North Star, like that's what I want to be. Like and people talk about like working through the process.
Yeah.
You know, and I think people say that and don't really like, okay, it's there, you know, I want to work on, you know, I'm going to work on the process, but still there's like, I've got one eye on that. Whereas actually just wanting to be better than you were the day before, like from what it sounds like for your journey, like that's all it was about. Like, can I be better than I was yesterday? And like, how can I continue to move forwards in that vein? And I think that's so important for anyone, like young athletes listening to this, like just take that message, like just be better than what you were the day before. And if you don't make a squad, you don't make a squad. Like you move on and you go to the next thing.
I think it's so easy to get caught up in, I need to be selected for this, or I need to do this. And I think when you get so focused on that kind of the outcome, you lose a bit of perspective, and you beat yourself up, and you kind of drop back to square one almost, and you have to start again. And I think to me a lot about when I was playing was about trying to get better each time I stepped on the pitch. Even the simplest stuff, just being able to push a ball consistently. You think as a fullback, playing the ball consistently into a centre half is under pressure. They need that ball in the right place, and that's, to me, was an example of just, even if it's something simple as that, just playing a push past 10 yards and nailing it every single time. Just the real detail. I took pride in trying to get better at that, and I think as a result my general game got better because I just wanted to get better at little bits of it all.
Yeah, and I think that can then transfer into so many different aspects of life, you know, whether it's you wanting to be a better coach, run a better business, like just having that aspect of I want to tidy up, you know, just a little bit every time I get out. I just want to be that little bit better in what I'm trying to do. So yeah, I think, again, I really want to stress that anybody, young players listening to this podcast, like that has to be the message, and also like keep enjoying your club hockey.
That's the massive thing.
It's so important. Like, I'm a huge advocate of club hockey. I've been fortunate enough to be involved in some pretty decent clubs and everything else. And actually, a good club environment, you can see the guys that have gone through and are doing really well because they love the club environment as well. You know, take Dixie, for example. He loves his club hockey.
Yeah.
Like, you can just see, like, when he puts on a Beeston shirt, he loves it.
And that is so what it's about. It's about fun. It's about... You do your drills and you try to improve, but have fun doing it. It's just all about fun, and that to me my whole experience about club hockey, I'd say it's been fun. There's been different periods of time where I've been kind of the junior looking up and seeing some of these guys, and then moving in to be a real part of the team, and then to be a kind of a key figure. Now more a senior player of it.
You're an old boy now.
I am getting there. I'll tell you next. I'm 30 this year.
Mate.
I know, my career is gone. It's so quick. Just talking about my debut in 2012, and now we're talking about 30 now. It's like, a bit older.
But I think, and again, like, you're smiling just even talking about the club stuff. Like you say, it does go quickly, so don't beat yourself up about it. Like, I think, again, sort of about my journey, and I said a little about this when I was talking to Tom, like, I sometimes lost that enjoyment factor because I got a bit too kind of narrow focused on what I was trying to do, and just kind of lost the love of it a little bit. And I think I'd wish I'd just almost just let the reins off a little bit and just enjoy it more and just be in the moment. Because like you say, it doesn't last forever. So actually just enjoying it when you're in it, like, is so key. And like, I'm 35 now. So actually, and I stopped playing when I was 25. Yeah. So I stopped playing a little while ago now, and part of me still thinks, I wish I'd sort of carried on playing a bit more longer. But actually,
good the other day when you put the kit on.
Oh, well, thank you very much, mate. I'll take that. So then, obviously, being a senior international player, you need to have decent stick skills and everything else. But what other aspects do you think like make a decent senior international player?
I think now, if you look at our program, we've got nutritionists, psychologists, amazing S&C team, physio team. We got kind of the whole thing, which you'd obviously kind of expect when you get to where we're at. But I think there's some key parts to it now. I think physically, the better you are as a senior soccer player, the better. The big thing I would say about that though is everyone's different. So I think it's so easy it's the classic kind of, you do a fitness test or whatever at any team, and you always compare yourself to the best runner. So I might be like, I'm 6'3" or whatever, and I'm comparing myself, so a bit bigger, and comparing myself to one of the little whippets that kind of in our team, like a Zach Wallace who's up and down. It's weird. You don't compare it. You don't. So I think that would be the big thing, is physically is so important, but recognise what your strengths are. So, and everyone has their own strengths physically, and everyone's different. So I think big thing is don't compare yourself to other people, because we're all different. Just be the best you can be physically, and whatever your strengths are, make them the best they can be. Yeah,
because actually you need to be robust physically, because the training's hard.
Exactly.
And being able to not break during a tournament is massive. Like, you just have to be, and again, something we were talking about with Tom earlier in previous episode, like, if you haven't got that physical robustness and that kind of core strength and physical kind of attributes to your game, like, you'll only ever get so far. Like, you have to have that so that you don't break,
and you can work on, and it's stuff you can get better at. And again, that is going in, and definitely the physical stuff is, unfortunately, it's hard yards. And that is but you can get better at that by working at it. By getting out on the pitch, running up and down it, getting in the gym, lifting weights, muscle conditioning, all sorts of stuff you can do to get yourself in the best place.
And then obviously, I guess there's the psychology side as well.
Huge, yeah. That's the biggest thing since I first started as an international player to now. Is I think that's become more and more important. And the work we do collectively is, I think, has been huge and has moved our squad on a lot. But also individually, how you prepare for a game mentally. So we quite often now do individually do like a mental warm up, which is to be honest, is basically just thinking a bit about the game, about stuff that may frustrate you or make you. We call them red triggers that make you a little bit angry. So that could be as simple as it could be the heat. You're playing the heat. It could be a real red trigger, and that's about. And then you have a way of dealing with it. So the heat could be my red trigger, and actually, your way of dealing with it, what might be your thought process about it might be, well, they're in the same position. It's not just me feeling like this. Everyone's feeling like this. You'll be all right, sort of thing. And it's about making those things that might set you off a little bit and put you in the red. Seem less significant, and actually, right, I know I might feel like this, so when it does happen, I'm ready for it. It's not a surprise. So that's a small little thing, and those mental warm-ups. And it's just about thinking about and preparing what might get me out of my comfort zone or make it feel. And so when it does happen, or if it does happen, you're ready and you have a method of dealing with it.
Yeah.
And I think now, hockey, the international game is so quick, so much happens, there's stuff going on, and it's about being able to deal with that and find a way of coping with it to get the result you want in the end, and not to go off track.
Yeah, because so many things happen so quickly, and also now with quarters and everything else, like you get those physical and mental breaks in the game as well.
Yeah.
So that makes a huge difference. But still, 15 minutes, you can't let anything like jolt you even for a second in that at senior international, because that's the difference between a goal or not a goal.
Exactly.
And that's either conceding or scoring. So being mentally tough on that is massive. So, a couple of minutes left. If you were to give 2 or 3 like tips for a young aspiring player who has got those aspirations to be a senior international athlete, what would they be?
It's a good question. This is the sort of you get asked this, and it's really hard because I think everyone's kind of so different. Mm-hmm. My big thing is about trying, like I said, those little 1% is getting out on the pitch. Ultimately, the players that get there in the end have just spent so much time on the pitch, and little things are just trying to get better. And you might go out one day and try and work on a skill and work well, and you might feel you've not got any better at it, but actually that time you've invested on the pitch and trying to work on it, longer term will stand you in good stead. So I think that's a big thing. I think just having fun and trying to enjoy the journey you go on, whatever that is, and trying to improve your game. And also when you do get the setbacks, that's the big challenge, because everyone at some point in their career will get them. Some people might get them when they start out as under 13. You might get I didn't get picked for the team, or now as a senior international. It happens the whole way along your journey. It's about just being like, actually, sucks a little bit, and it's frustrating, but it's about getting back on the horse and going again, and having that resilience just to keep believing in yourself and keep trying to get better. And if you get knocked back, go again and keep at it. And that'd be my big thing, I think, is just you just got to keep going. And when it doesn't go your way, learn from it and try and go again next time.
Nice. Well, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure. It has flown by.
Yeah, that has gone really quick.
Really quick. It's been great to chat to you, and there's been some real, for me, priceless bits of information there for the guys who are hopefully going to listen to this. And so, just thank you again so much for your time. It's been a blast.
Thanks for having me, mate. Yeah.
And
good work.
Catch you on the pitch soon.
Yeah.
Cheers.
See you soon.